It's Dave Johar once again. Pleased to be joined by Asgar Tair once again for the Boxing Voice. How are you, Asgi?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
Big Dave, looking all slick with his Hugo Boss. Is there a special occasion?
No, not really. Thought get your.
Come on, tell the truth, Dave. It's the big night tonight.
It's the big night tonight. The big night. Double J versus Double D, or Double D versus Double J. Asgi, we've got to get your thoughts on this fight. Massive fight. I mean, for me, it reminds me of like when Bruno and Lewis met. UK massive domestic clash. The only difference is there's no crowd there. Will that make a difference?
No, I think they're both way past that level. And to be honest with you, I've experienced it myself, and it doesn't really make that much of a difference because once you're in the ring, it's showtime.
Yeah. I mean, you've experienced life in the bubble when you were out with Josh Taylor against Kong Song about a month and a half ago. What's that feeling like? Is it like two gladiators just caged in a room and then only coming out for meals? Because it could be intense. I mean, you're in that room, thoughts play on your mind. What's that feeling like for the fighter and for trainers?
For the trainers, it's non-stop work because we don't just sit in one place doing nothing. The training still continues. You're still busy with your routine. You've got to wake up, do your runs, do your shadow boxing, your pad work, game plan, dietitian, everything. You know, your public workout, your press conference. You've got your weigh-in. Then it's fight night, and before you know it, it's boom. Everything just goes very quick.
I mean, the latest news that came out, I think on Thursday, or was it Wednesday now, where Joe Joyce isn't going to have Salas in his corner. Will that make a difference, or do you think he's beyond that? He's experienced enough not to have him in his corner and just do the business.
Well, it's like taking out Jose Mourinho and bringing in Alex Ferguson. You know, he's got Jimmy Tibbs in his corner. What more could you ask for? And his main coach is his second anyway. So it's not like anything's changed. It does raise a few eyebrows why he wasn't there. But listen, if he's got COVID, you can only wish him well and a quick recovery. But I don't think he'll make any difference. In fact, he'll increase his chances because Jimmy Tibbs, one of the smartest men in boxing.
And if your last pound was on this fight, some have said it's a 50-50 fight. From all the people that we've been speaking to this week, and certainly over the course of the last month, people such as Joseph Parker, Filip Hrgović, Kevin Barry, Kevin Mitchell, just to name a few people, Hamza Shiraz as well, they're either saying it's going to be Dubois early or Joyce has got a very good engine and could take him out later. What are your thoughts? How do you analyse a fight like this?
Experience. It all boils down to experience and how quick Daniel Dubois is going to mature on the fight night. This is his big occasion. Joe Joyce has been to many big occasions. He's an Olympic finalist. He's been there. He's fought some real top fighters. And it all goes down to maturity on the night. You know, people are starting to ignore Daniel Dubois' boxing ability. People think he's just a one-bang man. But no, he's got a very good jab. He can play around. He can play it smart. And, and that's what it all boils down to. Is the juggernaut going to bring it to him, take him into deep waters and try and drown him? We know he takes a lot of shots. We know he sucks in a lot of shots, but he keeps on going. And that's the question. Ben Davidson did a little bit yesterday, and he said, look, I generally couldn't put it on either side. It's definitely a 50-50. And when you think about it, it really is a 50-50. Questions are going to be asked. And tonight, questions will be answered. And whoever wins goes on to will be the new world champion. Will go on to win major titles. But then saying that, you've got, Yoko, is it? You've got Hrgović, you've got some Hunter, you've got some serious up and coming. And don't write off Usyk. Usyk's really right up there.
Yeah, and Joseph Parker's back on the mix as well.
Oh, yeah. Joseph Parker is still dangerous. I reckon he'll win back a world title. But for me, it's Joe Joyce. I'm edged towards Joe Joyce, simply because of his work rate, simply because of his experience. He can swallow up punches. So you've got to say, okay, look at Daniel Dubois' strength. It's a punching power. But in heavyweight punching, everyone's got punching, power. But who's got punch resistance? Now, we know Joe Joyce has. Question is, has Daniel Dubois? Now, when Daniel Dubois fought, who did he fight? Is it Lat?
Lottie.
Yep. And he wobbled a bit, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But he gritted his teeth, put his chin down, and he carried on. So it really is all questions answered on this night. But me, I'm going for Joe Joyce.
Good man. And do you think it will be later on? How do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to be a points victory? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I do not know myself. For me, this is a pure 50-50 fight, and to write off either fighter is perilous, isn't it?
Call me crazy, but I'm saying this as it is now. Daniel Dubois late on points, Joe Joyce early knockout.
Well, you've heard it here first, guys. I mean, that's the first.
Exactly.
No one has given us that prediction, but let's see what happens. It'll be an interesting one, right?
It's just a vision I just had just right now. You know, Joe Joyce is just going to go for the quick knockout, and he knows he's got the engine. And you know, they call him a juggernaut for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Kelly is also, when we spoke to him, I think it was on the Monday, pre-bubble, he said Daniel Dubois on points, which was interesting. So yeah, very interesting. But let's talk about the other fight that's happening. Are you going to be watching Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.? Does that tickle your fancy?
No.
For that?
No, I think it's disgusting. I think a lot of money's been made by a lot of people around. A lot of money's been promised to Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. I'm sure they're smart enough to make sure that money reaches them. But I just don't think it's right. They're both way past their peak. You've seen the weigh-in. They both don't look the very best. It's very, very sad. And silly fights like this will open the door for other, past fights. And we don't need it because I know you can't put a price on your health. Both have serious punching power, and it just takes that one blow. Because now they're saying that you can knock the opponent out.
That's right. They changed that last, I think, a few days ago. They changed that.
Listen, it's Christmas come early for the casuals because they'll think it's the greatest fight ever, and then Mike Tyson's the world champion or Roy Jones or whatever. You can't write off Roy Jones. I think Roy Jones will be too slick for him. I think he'll just catch him off, spin off every time with that leading left hook. And that's just my opinion, but I really couldn't care. I hope they both walk away safe.
Yeah. How many casual fight fans have contacted you saying, "Oh, what time's it on?" And what channel's it on?
Listen, I'm getting people saying, the greatest ever. He'll beat everybody. Are you watching it? Are you this? Are you that? What time's it on? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm going to do my bit, watch the Dubois fight, early night, early start, get on with my business. Then I'm going into the bubble for next week. So it'll be a good little, I'm busy doing what I'm doing. And I really couldn't care about Mike Tyson or Roy Jones. I like Roy Jones. I don't really like Mike Tyson for obvious personal reasons. Nothing against me, but I just, certain things that people do in life that I can't justify no matter how big, rich, famous they are. You cross that line, you're a wrong one for me. Sorry.
No, that's fair enough. Let's talk about, before we go into the Billy Joe Saunders fight, the fighter that you've just signed.
The main man.
Mikey
Lee Broughton.
Yep. So
what a young talent.
You signed him yesterday. He's part of your growing stable with Habil Khan. So we spoke to Mikey, my colleague did, John, a few weeks ago. Really likeable chap. Talk to us about how the partnership developed. How come he's signed with you? What brought him to the table? What weight he's going to be fighting at? Tell us everything about this young talent.
Okay. Many years ago, about 5 years ago, we was at a show in Birmingham watching the amateurs. We always like watching grassroots. And Ramsey's grabbed me and goes, "Asking, look at this kid. Look, he's brilliant." So I was like, he's all right. But he's a young kid then, you know what I mean? But Ramsey approached the kid and go, "Look, if you ever want to turn pro, you get in touch with me. I believe you'll be world champion." And this was 5 years ago. So next thing you know, I get a call from Ramsey, "Asky, remember that kid I used to tell you about?" I go, "No." He goes, "Remember that kid in Birmingham?" So I played along. He goes, "He's called me. He wants to turn pro." Asky, "He's brilliant. You've got to have a look." So he's brought him down to the gym. I had a look and I was like, wow. I was really impressed. So, 5 weeks in, he's ticked every box possible. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to really test this young man. I'm really going to test him, see if he's got the minerals. So I've asked a few seriously top talents to come down and really put it on him. And, he really did very, very well. He really passed with flying colours. Even the boxers were like praising him, and the people around him were praising him. But we've got to obviously limit that praise. But I was so impressed. And, there and then, I signed him up. I says, you know what, my man, you are going to be something special. And Birmingham don't realise what super talent they've got right there. He is going to be something so special. And you're talking about a young man that's fighting a lot of demons. He's had a lot of personal issues recently, a lot of personal issues. And he's maintained that, focus on his boxing because he understands. And it's such a sad story. Well, not a sad story. I'll tell you another story relating to this. When you sign, you have to pay a licensing fee. I think it's something like 160 quid or whatever it is. And it's easy for one of us to right, here, we'll pay that. But his granddad is so on top, on the ball, makes him go and work. He's actually working, packing parcels to raise that money, so he appreciates the value. You slip up in this game, that's what you're going back to. And that's what that's what you need. His granddad is unbelievable, and he's really good for him, and it's great to have around. And it's just I couldn't sleep. I was just thinking about, what we're going to do and planning ahead. And I thought, and Dave, you've got to meet this young kid. You got to see him in action. He is super talented, super talented.
I've got to come out and see this guy. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's not just from yourself, but even from what John was saying from the Boxing Voice. He was saying, look, we've got someone special here, and it's interesting to see young talent nurture. I mean, from the links that you've got as well with not just Ben Davidson, but Billy Joe Saunders, and I bet people generally, from the people that that they're excited for you and your stable as well, aren't they?
Yeah, Ben was really excited. I spoke to Ben before, I said, look, there's a young kid that I'm interested in. And he goes, well, show me some videos, tell me, and he was guiding me through. And then he was going, look, very impressive. So I said, Ben, I'm signing him. Ben was over the moon because listen, we're all under the same umbrella. And one day, hopefully, when I could take Mikey Lee to a level, I think he's ready now. I want to introduce him to Ben under the MTK Performance stable, under the Ben Davidson stable, and together we can just take him to greater heights. Because with Ben's influence and training and knowledge and know-how, I think Mikey Lee is going to be untouchable.
What weight is he going to be campaigning at?
Well, he's walking around at 64, so the choice is his. He's super strong at 64. What's he going to be like at 60, 62 or lighter? But that I'll leave to the specialists, those that deal with the nutritional side of things, because my main concern is the training. I don't want to be one of them guys that knows it all. No, listen, I'll leave it to the best. They'll decide, is he performing at what way is he performing the best at? And that's what's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's good as well because he looks like he can fill up to different weights as well, up or down, to be fair.
Listen, he's a dedicated athlete. He lives a lifestyle. He has his routines. He sticks to what he needs to do. He knows what he wants, and that's what I like to do. What I like to see, because he ticks every box I want. He's like a coach's dream. Shame he's from Birmingham.
Is he a Blues fan at all?
No, he's not really a football man. He's boxing. And what's real funny, because he actually loves Josh Taylor and Billy Joe Saunders. He studies them. And when I said to him, look, I want you to, because I said to him first, get all the Billy Joe Saunders fights, get all the Josh Taylor fights, and I want you to master it and study it. And he was like, I already do. And he was showing me all the clips. I thought, wow, proper on point. Has
he done the David Lemieux sort of...
No. His granddad would kill him. No showboating for him. But you never know. He probably would.
Good stuff. Well, definitely 100% we'll be over there once we can do. Next week, you're living in a suitcase then, aren't you? For a week?
Oh, man, yeah.
You go over there? Because I know you're not really a fan of hotels and stuff yourself. You're quite a grounded family man. When do you go over there then?
I'm there Monday morning. I've got to go for the test at the hotel, stay in my room until it's cleared. Then we've got Lewis Edmondson who's fighting on the Billy Joe Saunders undercard. So really excited for that. So exciting times ahead. I'm really looking forward to that because Lewis Edmondson, as we know, it's his birthday today, funny enough. And, you know, Billy Joe's tipped him to be a world champion. And if there's a man that knows, it's Billy Joe. He's done a bit of work with Ben Davidson while he's been over here. So I'm excited. I really am excited. And to be honest, I'm honoured to be cornering him, and for Billy Joe and Ben to have that faith in me and trust in me. It means a lot.
Absolutely brilliant. Billy Joe could have had the anyone in the division. Is the Murray fight a dangerous fight for Billy Joe at this stage?
Of course it is. You know, Murray's it's his last chance. He's been at that world level numerous times. He should have been a world champion.
Yes.
Was it Sergio? Who did he fight?
Sergio Martinez.
In Argentina, he got a draw. Yeah.
Totally disrespectful.
So he should have been a world champion. And listen, this man's coming to win. He's going to bring everything to the table. And you know it's going to be a dangerous fight because it just takes at one point to change the game. But I'm pretty sure, you know, Billy Joe is very smart. His boxing intelligence is right up there. So he'll learn to adapt, move around, and he'll just wear him out and take him out.
And then there's Canelo versus Callum Smith as well.
A very dangerous fight, very good. I wish Callum Smith does well because he's got that range. If there's a man that can, it's Canelo. I mean, it's Smith, but I just think, I don't know, if Canelo turns him and shreds him to pieces. But you listen, I think Callum Smith will do very well with his range and his boxing IQ. I think if he just boxes safe, he should do okay.
I mean, hopefully you guys can get the fight between Billy Joe and the winner out of that, right? Because it should have been Canelo versus Billy Joe earlier on in the year, wasn't it? That's the fight.
Yeah, it's such a shame, but it is what it is, and no point dwelling on what's not there in front of you. You've got to deal with what's in front of you. I would love to see Billy Joe versus Triple G. That's the fight I like to see.
Yeah, he's out in a few.
It's I think it's a record-breaking defense. The most defense, is it 29?
Something like that.
29 defense. Yeah, it's a remarkable achievement. And now you got Oscar De La Hoya calling him out. You know, it's turning into a freak show. I think the best should fight the best. I think Triple G, Canelo, Billy Joe, and Smith all mix it in. It's good Canelo and Smith are fighting because it shows you're going into the right direction. And Billy Joe comes through against Murray, and I'm sure Billy Joe will get a great fight with the winner because we know Andre's going to be fighting Smith.
Yeah,
Smith. So that's going to be good. So he's out of the picture. So it really boils down to them them four.
Yeah, and despite the kind of year we're having economically and socially, should we just say as well, it's been quite frustrating. But it's great to see.
It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. For boxing, we've seen some great fights. You know, we've seen how regular we're getting some great fights. You know, like before, where the journeyman was there just to get the rounds in, and it was just a one-way fight. But now you're seeing a lot of rises. A journeyman's coming to win because they're on TV. This is their moment, and it really is. It really is turning into 50-50. Great super fight. You know, I'm excited. I'm loving what's going on, and obviously with the crowd back in, it'll be much better. But at the end of the day, it's only the promoters that are losing the revenue. Us as fans, we still get to see these fights. So it's great.
And long may it continue. Asgar, just very finally, a message for everybody then.
About what?
Just about
message for what?
Promote or any other fighters, Mikey Lee, Billy Joe Saunders you got out next week as well. Any shout outs, anything you want to say at the end?
Yeah, listen, I'm wishing Hannah Jones, she'll be out soon. I'm really excited about her. She's an exciting fighter. So everything's sorted for her. I just need to get her on a show, one to watch out for. Obviously, I've got Siraj Ahmed, who's fighting in Pakistan December the 19th. Brilliant fight, brilliant platform for him. on the Amir Khan promotion show. Brilliant. I can't wait for that. It's going to be really, really good. We've got Ahid Khan, obviously he's getting sorted. Abil Khan ready when he recovers from his injury. So exciting times for them. And, you know, with Mikey Lee brought in, I'm really, really excited with this young man. I've had a young kid join us, Kashif. He's got to decide what he wants to do. Hopefully he jumps on board. But listen, I've got Lewis Razor Robinson, who's joined us. You know, obviously he can't get his license at the moment due to whatever reason, personal issues, but he's a super heavyweight that I'm really, really enjoying having around. I think he'll be something special again. You know, I've known him since when the Fury started. He was around then. But with Lewis Robinson, he's the one to watch. Super heavyweight, and he'll be bloody knocking them all down, trust me.
Good stuff.
So all support is needed and appreciated. So if you can get behind any of the boxers, or you know anybody that's interested in sponsoring them or wants to help in any way, just get in touch, DM me, and hopefully it'll be good to have you on board.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Cheers, Asgi, once again from the Boxing Voice.
Take care, Dave. All the best.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.